on to an injustice by another injustice. They are enthusiastic about establishing the greater Muslim state, the Khilafah, but they realize that can only be achieved by following the Prophet's way of establishing the Muslim society that is strong in its creed of Tawheed. They are ready to endure the oppression and wrong until Allah decrees the relief. The consequences of rushing the da'wah into early confrontations are disastrous. It divides the society and injures people without establishing concrete results. The da'wah is based upon aqeedah, knowledge, holding to the truth, advice, and perseverance. This is the path of Saleh As-Saleh. Hence the advice. And advice is offered here to all the Muslims to re-examine their stand towards their faith and to know what the Prophet ﷺ warned against in the following. And this ummah will divide into 73 sects, all of which except one will go to hell, and they, the saved group, are those who are upon what I and my companions are upon, or those who follow my way and the way of my companions. So we are all called at all times to hold firm to the path that does not go wrong, the path of the early generations, about whom the Prophet ﷺ said in the following, the best of people is my generation, then those who come after them, and those who come after them, i.e. meaning the first 3 generations. The creed of those generations was correct, their manhaj, methodology of practicing the deen, was correct, and their characters were honored with morality. They are the ummah and the jama'ah group of Muslims, because they did not unite upon error, and were on the truth, testifying to the saying of the Prophet ﷺ in the following, my ummah does not unite upon error. In our times, the motivation towards Islam can only succeed if it is purely directed towards the path of Saleh As-Saleh. Imam Malik, may Allah shed him with his mercy, said in the following, the latter of this ummah will not be correct except on that which made its first part correct. All Muslims should support the transformation that unites this ummah under the banner of As-Salaf. They are called to remember what Abdullah bin Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him, said in the following, whoever wants to adopt a way from amongst you, let him adopt the way of those who died, because the living is not safe from fitna. They were the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, having the best hearts of this ummah, most profound in knowledge, least in formalities. Allah chose them to accompany His Prophet ﷺ and to establish His deen. Allah looked into the hearts of His slaves and found that Muhammad's heart is the best. Thus He chose him for Himself and sent him with His message. Then He looked into the hearts of His slaves after His look into Muhammad's heart, and found that those of Muhammad's companions were the best hearts. Thus He chose them as aids to His Prophet, fighting in the cause of His deen. Whatever the Muslims consider as good, then it is good with Allah, and whatever they consider as bad, then with Allah it is also bad. And all the companions agreed to have Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, as the Khalifa, the leader, to lead the Muslims after the death of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's the end of the saying by Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu. Such transformation pleases Allah and gains His support for the Muslims. So we should respectfully recognize the role of a Salaf As-Saleh and hold to their guidance, because they are on the straight path. The Prophet ﷺ drew a line with his hand and said, this is the straight path of Allah. He then drew several lines to its right and left and said, these are as-subul, the other ways. On each there is a devil inviting people to it. He ﷺ then recited, and verily this is my straight path, so follow it and follow not other paths, for they will scatter you about from His path. And this is in Surah Al-An'am, Ayah 153. Dr. Saleh As-Saleh concludes by saying, I advise myself and all Muslims to work to follow the true path of Allah, and I ask Him to save us all from all paths of deviation. Signed, the slave of Allah, Saleh As-Saleh Raheemahulah. And he asks Allah to reward with all good Sister Ahmed Al-Kanadiya for her excellent editing. All references, so that concludes the article. All references can be found in the article in the site understand-islam.net under articles. We ask Allah to have mercy on our Shaykh and his family and to unite us with him in Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت واستغفر الله وأتوب إليك.